correct. I mean, yeah, I was beating myself up the week after because, like, I held back and I was like, no lah, maybe I'll wait a while more for the forex to recover because it shouldn't be this inflated.
It did recover.
But after that, then it already gone already, right?
Already gone, yeah.
That's why.
So you never get a kind of ideal situation for investing.
Correct. Yeah, but I guess like the good thing is at least I stuck by my original rules and I deployed some, so I don't feel that bad. Rather than those like I was seeing a lot of people say that they were just gonna wait because it will get lower, and they chose to stay out of the market to try to time it. So I don't know if they managed to get in anything at all. But if they didn't, and this is really a real recovery, then they would have missed the boat completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then there were some few questions. You want to go ahead first with the?
Yeah, hold on. Let's get the question in a while. But yeah, so like for those of you who hasn't really been following, the drop has been quite insane. I didn't put it in this presentation, but I think there's also a good chart out there online where you guys can see how many days it took to fall by how many percent in all the different crises. And the fall now has been one of the fastest in terms of speed, but also the rally has been like crazily fast. Right, yeah. So it's been really, really unprecedented. But what worries me is that like what you say, the bad impact has not been truly felt yet. So we haven't yet started seeing companies report bad earnings. We haven't yet see the fallout because like with companies laying off so many people, your unemployment rates are going up. So all these people are also going to have less money. So the circulation in the economy from a macro point of view will drop. So all of this will affect the demand supply for the company's goods and services. And we're not seeing that yet. It's still too early.
Hopefully there is more correction. I think people have a lot of cash to deploy now. I hope that when the drop comes, remember to deploy because sometimes it can be quite scary, right? You see prices dropping, don't catch the falling knives.
Yeah, correct.
I think you have a number of questions over there. Are you done on the slides?
Yeah. Hold on. Okay, so let's go. Let's see. I see questions on banks. Okay, I do the easy ones first. I see someone saying, do you think Sheng Siong's price will behave by Biobandic? Don't know. Must ask God. Don't know. Nobody knows. But I guess like what we know for sure is that if Sheng Siong really is overvalued and they fail to deliver on the next set of earnings, then there would most likely be a drop in sentiment and hence share price correction. But to how much and when that will happen, your guess is as good as mine. Let's see. Rusmin, any key ones that you want to cover?
I think there's one that I saw just now on the REITs, Real Estate Investment Trust. Okay, so what are your thoughts on the prices for Singapore REITs, considering the MAS recommended steps to help S-REITs to manage cash flow and raise funds recently? Do you want to answer this, or I can answer this as well?
You can answer first.
Okay, so for this, I think the REITs in Singapore, generally, they are much in a stronger position as compared to 2008-09 where we have credit crunch. This time round is not so much on credit crunch. This time round is more on the impacts to the tenants, right? So because of the lockdown, especially on the retail sites, some of the shopping mall non-essential cannot open, right? So I think the landlord have to waive the rent, right? I mean, if you don't waive at this point of time, you're gonna get squeezed by both sides, right? Both by the government and also by the tenants. So it's better for you to waive it. And also, I think a lot of retail REITs have been trying to waive off the tenants. So that will cause the fall of rental income, and that essentially, I think it depends on how you see COVID-19. Is it going to be a temporary issue or permanent? If it's going to be a permanent, then don't touch retail REITs or even hospitality REITs, right? Or even office, or even all the sector actually, because the world is PG, right? So they can't really invest. I think COVID-19 will not last that long. It probably, hopefully this year, second half we'll see the recovery, especially on Singapore side. But if you're looking at the hospitality REITs, I think that part has already been affected badly. But retail REITs, I think I'm quite confident that they will recover. They will recover strongly from this crisis. Healthcare, I think no problem. Of course, there are two healthcare. One is First REIT.
And Parkway.
Okay, just ignore the First REITs. Okay. There are a lot of REITs that I don't have time to explain to you. Yeah, and of course the industrial, I think so far they are pretty much sheltered from this. Office also are quite steady. But with the whole world going into recession, then office industrial is definitely going to get kicked as well. Right?
Yeah, correct. I share the same thoughts as you. I think out of the different REIT sectors, the ones that would seem to be more have better valuations, more attractive valuations right now would be the retail REITs.
Retail, yeah.
In terms of the recovery, like that would be a lot more certain compared to some others that are not as clear cut. But again, also this is where the profile of the REIT is very important, right? Because how much free cash flow they have, who their sponsor is going to be very important in seeing how they navigate these crises. Because if they are like already over leveraged or very, very close to the gearing limit, even though MAS raised that gearing recently, but if they're already over geared, then that's going to be bad news in the near term, because how much more debt do they need to take on in order to ride out this crisis? And if the crisis prolongs, then do they have that road to actually take on even more debt until it ends? Yeah, that is the $1,000 question, right? Or the $1 million question. Yeah. Okay, so I see. Okay, we won't be covering all of the questions for sure. I see a lot of people asking about the bank, so maybe let's talk about that. I think the bank right now, one key risk is oil, because if the oil prices cause a lot of the companies to go bankrupt, then they might not be able to repay their loans that they owe to the bank. And you guys can go and research on what is the respective bank's exposure to the oil and gas industry, and then discern for yourself if you think that they will be protected from that loss. But yeah, I think the banks seem pretty attractive right now, and there do seem to be quite some compelling valuations going on. So I personally am looking to average in and then see how that goes.
Okay, so you're vested in banks.
I am vested. I've actually been vested since a long time ago. It's more actually now averaging up. Because the last time I bought banks was during the 2016 crisis.
Nice.
Yeah,
oil crash, right? Yeah.
Yes, correct. And now oil crashed again. So I'm starting to see same attractive valuations. But the key thing is really the exposure right now, because I think this is a lot worse than the 2016 crisis.
Yeah. I think the banks, if the banks collapse, means Singapore will have a big problem, because it's a financial hub, right? So they will do all sort of things to save the bank.
Yeah.
So I think it's even like about the loans portfolio for the banks are properties. If there's any property bubble, you see government coming in doing cooling measure, and trying to make sure that people don't speculate in this sector, so that the bank would not have bad loans on the property sector. So I think the banks are quite okay in Singapore. Right? Generally, they are quite stable.
Yeah, I think our banks are quite good compared to some of the other foreign banks, where they may not be as well protected or sheltered in terms of how they structure it. Yeah, so I think our banks are okay. Maybe there might be opportunity. Hopefully more in the coming weeks. Yeah, but we'll have to see, right? Have to continue monitoring that. Any other questions that you wanted to take on, Rusmin?
I think the last one that people are asking, I think quite a lot of them are say +1 for sets.
Yeah, I'm going to skip the Hong Leong trading question, because I think everything that we've shared about oil has already covered that, and the exposure is already in there. You really have to go and decide and look at the numbers to discern for yourself, or find out what is the exposure to Hong Leong. But yeah, sets. Okay, wow, so many people on sets.
Yeah, so you better cover that.
Okay, Rusmin, you can go first. I must disclaim first. My optimism is going to sway you guys, because I am invested in sets already.
Oh, so okay, nice. So it looks like you are invested in quite a lot of companies that we discussed tonight. Okay, so for sets, I think, if you compare SIA and sets, definitely sets is better, right? Because sets business is a service business. They provide catering for airlines, right? Once the airline industry come back, no matter how bad they get, how many blue black they get during this COVID-19, they still have to come back, and then sets will be there to serve them. So there is going to be one beneficiary for sets. Yeah. So I think now it's just a question of how long COVID-19 is going to last, right? Because sets have bulk of the business in the catering. The other bulk is logistic, right? It's mainly tied to all the travel related stuff. Right. Of course, they have another part where they have Singapore food industry, where they serve Singapore Armed Forces, SAF, right?
Yeah.
That part, I think,
right?
And some of the schools, yeah. So I think that part is will be quite intact. But again, sets is essentially about is catering, right? So I think they will be able to recover, all right, from this crisis. It's just that this year, I think you expect them to cut the dividends because the whole airline, when they grounded, you don't have revenue coming in. So that is going to be a problem there.
For sure. I actually invested in sets pretty early on. So the price is actually cheaper now than when I first bought in. So it's more into my averaging in trenches strategy, and I've not exhausted all trenches yet. But I think for sets, personally, I am of the opinion that it may get worse because the sentiment should worsen in the coming weeks, especially if the virus situation does not improve, because global travel is not going to recover that quickly. And with airlines starting to file for insolvency, that could affect sets, especially if it starts to hit SIA really badly. So I think that there might be more opportunities for sets in the coming weeks, depending on how long this drags. But I think fundamentally, sets financials and the structure of the business, the quality has been not bad at all. Yeah, so like you, I'm of the opinion that I would much rather go for sets above SIA. I can't remember when I bought it, but I remember for those of you who are following me on Patreon, I did share about sets when I first bought, and the thesis has only gotten more attractive right now because of the share price correction.
I have a price that I'm waiting still for sets. Right, so if it comes, then maybe I'll take a position. I'm not invested in sets for now yet. Of course, at this valuation, it's quite attractive, to be honest with you. It's just that I'm more an opportunist now because of the COVID-19. This company is going to get hit quite badly because they are the direct impact.
Yeah, correct. Okay, so all right, this is the last question because I have to run. But we've overrun. Hey, thanks, Rusmin. I know I told you it's 30 minutes, but guys, we're at 1.5 hours already. My goodness, thanks for sticking around for so long. I think only 10 people drop out. Wow, I'm really surprised. So yeah, thanks for giving us your Friday night. But anyway, the last question we're gonna take is on technology. I think technology is going to be one of the obvious beneficiaries of this crisis for sure. So the question is which technology stock, because there's so many of them, and we have very clearly seen in some of the recent examples that some technology stocks have actually been overvalued, right? Everyone's just been going in because of sentiment. It's so easy to think that everyone's staying home and watching Netflix now, or everyone's using Zoom, so let me go and invest in Zoom. It's so funny that people are investing in the wrong Zoom stock.
Okay.
So I guess for technology companies, it is definitely good. But the question is which company, and we don't have an overall view because the technology companies differ so much. There are some that will benefit and there are some that won't. So it depends on who they serve, what their goods, what their services, and which area of technology are they in. And eventually, their financial health is going to be very important as well as their management. So I think these are things that we have to consider. And but I'm definitely very, very optimistic for technology sector.
Oh yes, I'm heavy on technology stocks.
Yeah. By the way, for those of you who don't know, Rusmin is a value growth investor. So he's also very geared towards undervalued and growing stocks. So as a result, technology does fall into that category. But yeah, again, it's the type and which stock exactly. Yeah. Thanks. All right. So thanks, guys. And thanks, Rusmin, for doing this.
Thanks for having me. Thanks so much.
No problem. I really enjoyed this. So thanks, everyone, and thanks for entertaining us on a Friday evening. So yeah, we'll be having probably more webinars in the near future. So see whether Rusmin wants to join us again next time, or we will try. I'm actually having one with Value Invest Asia soon, and searching of the Motley Fool. So we have that coming up. And if you guys are interested to hear into their opinions of the market, or we're also going to discuss specific stocks in some of the webinars, then feel free to let us know and register for those webinars. We will also talk about it on social media when it's ready. So yeah, thank you for joining us, and I hope you guys found this useful.
Thanks, guys. Bye. Stay safe and stay healthy.
Yeah, stay safe, and last slide, invest safely.
Oh yeah.
All right, thanks guys, thanks everyone, bye bye.
Thank you.